NFL. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, would you believe he's rated too high at number 3?
Oh, hell no. I would not believe it. Listen, Greeny, we had all these discussions last year, and I was one of those guys that went on and on about Josh Allen and his turnovers. But make no mistake about it, Josh Allen is one of the top 3 best quarterbacks that we have in the league, both dynamic with his arm and his leg. This dude can elevate any team that he's put on. So, no, Josh Allen is ranked right where he's supposed to be.
Well, you and I both see it that way, but one veteran NFL executive does not. Can I read the quote here? This was one of the quotes that Jeremy collected from an NFL executive. He said of Josh Allen, quote, one of the more overrated players in the NFL. Immense talent, but he makes a lot of mistakes. He's underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage, tends to lock onto targets, more of a thrower than precision passer, forces throws into traffic. And can I be honest with you? Dan Orlovsky, when I read that, the first thing I thought of was, please let Dan be on my show this week so I can read him that quote and let him respond. What do you think?
He's an idiot, that source. Respectfully, I don't mean to be like that. That's moronic to say. First of all, Greeny, in the last 4 seasons, the only quarterback that has a better plus-minus turnover to touchdown ratio is Patrick Mahomes. The only guy. So he's the only guy that you would definitively, without question, take over Josh Allen. They've lost to Kansas City 3 times in the playoffs. I mean, Josh Allen is 2 or 3 plays away from being a multi-Super Bowl appearing quarterback and potentially Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's lost to Kansas City in the playoffs by freak defense and lost to Kansas City in the playoffs by a missed field goal. It's a moronic statement to make, and for some reason, I don't know what the reason is, Josh Allen has become the cover boy for who could be the biggest hater and say the dumbest stuff.
What do you think of that, Crosby?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dan completely. I feel like, one of the issues we have with quarterback evaluation is people hold on to their pre-draft evaluations a little bit longer than they should, especially when they've been proven wrong. And this sounds like criticism of Josh Allen that was being made when he was coming out of Wyoming, when he was breaking into the league. He's better at the line of scrimmage than he used to be. Like, there's no question about it. He has developed in that area of the game. Does he make mistakes? Does he throw interceptions? Sure, but I mean, everyone's got flaws. Fact of the matter is, the Bills are 63-30. With Josh Allen as their starting quarterback. So he's pretty good at overcoming whatever the flaws are.
Yes, my issue with the list is that I would have put him 2, not 3.
Yeah, he might be too low.
That's my own personal opinion. I would have had him at 2. But Dan, let's for the purpose of the exercise, because we're all agreed. We all strongly disagree that he is overrated. But let's just the specific criticisms. Dan Orlovsky, no one breaks this stuff down better than you do. Is he underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage? Does he tend to lock onto targets? Is he more of a thrower than a precision passer?
So, no, he's not underdeveloped at the line of scrimmage. Does he lock onto targets? Yes, a lot of quarterbacks do. What was the third one?
More of a thrower than a precision passer.
Yes, he's more of a thrower than a precision passer. He's 6'5", 250 pounds. Of course he's more of a thrower. He's a freak athlete. Now, he has developed into, if he was the thrower here and the precision passer coming out of school was here, he's narrowed that gap by hard work. But of course so was Ben Roethlisberger. So there's guys that have been unbelievable. So is Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, of course. So, Greeny, you know what it is a lot of times, let's have a really honest conversation. A lot of times this happens when we pigeonhole quarterbacks because of the style of the play, and we have historically done it with black quarterbacks. And for some reason, we've pigeonholed Josh Allen in that regard as well. Oh, he's big, he's fast, he's powerful, he's strong. He doesn't look like some of the traditional quarterbacks. And so we hold that against him for some reason. Yes, he has turnovers. So do many great quarterbacks. But they're great because they put the ball in harm's way at the most risky moments. I watched Matthew Stafford win the Super Bowl 3 years ago because he did that. He just happened to make the play. Josh has done it many a times. He's just been let down in certain situations.
You're 100%. You made the point. He walked off the field with the lead with 13 seconds left in Kansas City that would have put this team in a Super Bowl one time. And last year they missed a very makeable field goal that ended their season. So many of these things are dependent on other things. I'm coming back live as we look back again now at the quarterback rankings from the NFL. I want to dive back into Josh Allen, because he comes in at number 3 at the preseason rankings for the second consecutive year, which means that the consensus of all these executives and coaches and scouts is that he is an outstanding player. But the criticism always seems to be there. There's this undercurrent. And in the article that Fowler did, there's one anonymous executive who says he's one of the more overrated players in the NFL. Immense talent, but he makes a lot of mistakes. He's underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage. He tends to lock onto targets. He's more of a thrower than precision passer. He forces throws into traffic. So let me bring Booger and Orlovsky and Graziano back into this conversation. Dan, so we've already covered this. None of us think that he's overrated. I personally would have Josh Allen number 2 on this list. I would go Mahomes and Allen, but that's not really interesting enough to split those hairs. But let's just deal in the very specific criticism, okay? If someone says to you, Josh Allen is underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage, he tends to lock onto targets, he's more of a thrower than a precision passer, and he forces throws into traffic. Are those legitimate criticisms?
No. Okay, number 1, coming out of college, not good at the line of scrimmage. Greeny, one of the first breakdown videos I ever did was him playing in college football and not knowing what a pressure was and how to handle it. He is absolutely elevated his game in regards to that. He has so much control at the line of scrimmage now when it comes to changing and getting in and out of protections and schemes. Number 2, locks onto receivers. I do think that is fair, but I think that's fair for basically every quarterback. I say this all the time. One of my complaints is when people say, don't predetermine where you're going to throw the football. If I know the defense and I know the play that's going to hurt the defense, why would I not predetermine where I'm going to throw the football to? I don't assume that the guy's going to get open, but if it's man-to-man coverage and I got Stephon Diggs on a go route, I'm going to throw that ball to the go route. Number 3, he's more of a thrower than a precision passer. Absolutely. He is a go get your own shot type of quarterback rather than I have to create the open jumper for you. There's only so many people on the planet that are like that. You want that more than just the precision passer. And then the fourth thing is the forces throws. Yes, but in the reality of it, Greeny, and I've said this before, you cannot be great at that position in this league unless you force the ball at times. You're just good enough to get away with it.
When I read those criticisms, Booger, I think of a guy that you would have played against a million times, and that's Brett Favre. Another player, I think a player who would have been described in a lot of the same ways during the heyday of his career. Do you see it?
Yeah, Green, you see some of it, especially with Josh Allen and some of the interceptions that he threw in the red zone. But I think Brett was more of a gunslinger than Josh. Josh is way more talented than Brett Favre. I think his ability to run the football, and let's face it, I mean, he's 6'4", 240 pounds. You have to use what the good Lord gave you in order to achieve athletic greatness, and they do that. My only knock against Josh Allen is this: to whom much is given, much is expected. And as great as he's been, I still think there's a level of expectation that we expect from him because of how great he is, because he's supremely talented, because of his athleticism, because of everything that he does. We're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes and what he did last year with a receiving core that everybody on ESPN said wasn't good. Now we get to Josh Allen this year. No Gabe Davis, no Stephon Diggs. Hey, Josh, you're ranked number 3 on this list. Let's go out and do something. I don't want to hear about Keon Coleman being a rookie. I don't want to hear about Khalil Shakir. I don't want to hear about anybody's shortcoming. You are regarded as, at worst, a top 3 quarterback in this league. Now go out and get it done. And I think that's where the criticism comes from, because as supremely talented as he is, he's got nothing to show for it. And those are the facts.
Let me get Graz in here. Go.
Yeah, look, I go back a couple years ago when the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, and so much talk in the offseason about the work Patrick Mahomes was doing to get, the new receivers on the right page, the increased level of responsibility he had to try and make it work without the threat he was always able to rely on. That's the position Josh Allen finds himself in, right? We've never seen him succeed at a high level without Stephon Diggs. Can he do it? Of course. He's talented enough. But he has to do it. And I think if he does, if we see that kind of advancement, and I'm not saying that to win the Super Bowl, but if we see that kind of advancement with the new offense, then I think it answers a lot of lingering questions about him for those who still have them.
Dano, final word.
Patrick Mahomes is the most talented player many people have ever seen at that position. If not for Patrick Mahomes, if he did not exist, Josh Allen would be the quarterback in the NFL that everybody wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback under the age of 35 who is playing who has ever won the Super Bowl. I mean, that criticism exists of literally every other player who is younger than Russell Wilson. All right, coming up.